What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Gifted One, back here with another recap. Today I'll be talking about the events that transpired at Money in the Bank, and this is Gifted Radical Wrestling. So first off, we start off with Jeff Hardy making his long-awaited return, and things really kind of are like in a weird position because I actually thought that he was going to be facing off with Sheamus, since Sheamus has been the one that's been kind of talking crap to him. They had a little incident on Friday Night SmackDown, and no way. He ends up coming out and he faces none other than the Swiss cyborg Cesaro. So they come out and they have a good match, guys. It's kind of back and forth between the both of them. Jeff Hardy is really offensive. He looks great for coming back after such a long layoff. Not sure if you guys are aware, but he did have a little stint in rehab. So, you know, popping pills and all that other stuff, DUIs, and he finally got the help he needed, and he's back better than ever, in my opinion. So, they have a good match. They go outside. Cesaro kind of imposes his will on him on the outside, and they get really physical. Jeff Hardy, you know, he's a real resilient guy. He's the king of extreme. He comes back, and Cesaro's punishing him. But it's no avail, guys. Jeff Hardy, like I said, he's real resilient. He ends up coming back and mounting up the offense, hitting Cesaro with some of his patented maneuvers. Goes on top of the rope, hits him with the Whisper in the Wind as well. And then ultimately he sets him up for the Twist of Fate, picking up the victory on Cesaro. So Jeff Hardy kind of moves on, you know, victorious in the pre-Money in the Bank show. And kudos to Jeff Hardy. Now let's see what they're going to have in store for him come this week on SmackDown. See if he has a one-on-one with Sheamus. We'll see how that goes. So moving forward, we have a match between MVP and R-Truth, to what it seems to be like a match between MVP and R-Truth. But as they're out there conversating, R-Truth kind of is making fun of MVP, telling him he wants to teach him how to ball and show him all this other good stuff, kind of joking. You know, R-Truth, he's a comedian. He comes in for comic relief, and I feel as though that this part of the match and this segment was a little bit comic relief for the Money in the Bank event. But he gets interrupted by Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley ends up telling MVP take the night off, and he has the match with R-Truth instead. He comes out real physical with R-Truth. I believe Bobby Lashley's still a little bitter because he actually got disqualified from moving forward in the Money in the Bank, actually being in the match itself. But hey, he gets some type of airtime on the Money in the Bank, even though if it's the pre-show or not. You're still on. You know, you still made it to the pay-per-view. He comes out, he kind of beats up R-Truth, tossing R-Truth around and stuff like that. But R-Truth tries to mount a little bit of offense throughout the match. They kind of have like a short match, but Bobby Lashley, he's coming out like a savage, guys. He's super laser focused. R-Truth hits him with a little bit of offensive maneuvers, but at the end of it all, Bobby Lashley hits him with the spear, ends up picking up the victory. Bobby Lashley, and puts R-Truth down, guys. I mean, you know, I think right now they're getting ready to push Bobby Lashley in a major way, and I would like to see him go for one of the heavyweight titles. If not the heavyweight title, let's put that Intercontinental strap back around him. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's a great wrestler. He has MMA background and everything like that. So let's give this man a push, man. So then we have the role models coming out. Bayley with her sidekick Sasha, and she's getting ready to face Tamina for the SmackDown Women's Championship match. So now this match, in my opinion, guys, it kind of lagged a little bit. Bayley comes out kind of like playing with Tamina in the beginning of the match, and slapping her around, telling her, oh, where's the good Tamina? I believe Tamina was going through some type of anger management or something like that. She was like, oh, is that what the therapy's doing? You know, kind of poking fun of her. But Tamina ends up turning on the switch, and she starts going to work on Bayley. So, you know, they have a pretty good match. Tamina's a little bit stronger than Bayley, so she kind of gets the upper hand on Bayley. But, you know, Bayley's a vet. She's the champ. She's the longest reigning SmackDown Women's champ. And she starts going to work. She starts getting the upper hand on Tamina. In my opinion, I believe Tamina needs a little bit more ring action in order for her to get her cardio up. For her to be a little bit more fluent in the ring, because it looked like she was kind of stumbling a little bit from time to time, didn't know what to do or whatever. But Bayley, you know, she starts going to work, showing some different things in her arsenal. She puts her in a knee bar. Maybe if she would have clamped the leg, you know, the foot behind the arm a little bit and really hyperextended that knee, she possibly could have made Tamina tap. But hey, it was a good offensive move in my opinion on Bayley's behalf. But then Bayley gets a little careless. She asks for a bottle of water, and Corey Graves gives her a bottle of water. She starts to sip on it, then she throws it in Tamina's face, kind of reawakening Tamina. Tamina kind of gets like a second wind when the water hit her, and tosses her over the announcer table. I mean, she goes to work on her a little bit on the outside, but she goes for a Samoan drop, and Bayley actually is able to reverse it, kind of sort on her, kind of like a crucifix pin, and actually picks up the victory on Tamina. But she got the victory due to a little interference of her friend Sasha Banks. So, you know, she's been holding on to that belt thanks to Sasha. Then they start to double team her right there. Tamina goes to hit her with a Samoan drop, but Sasha comes out and hits her with a chop block. And they kind of double team her for a little bit. Sasha gets a little revenge on her, hits her with a knee or whatever, and leaves her laying out. But there you see Bayley and Sasha. I think this is going to be a preview to a feud, in my opinion, that will be upcoming between Sasha and Bayley. So let's keep our eye on out for that. And moving forward, in my opinion, I think this was one of the best matches. This was one out of the two best matches that I believe that happened in the whole pay-per-view, which was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It was between the New Day, Miz and Morrison, the Lucha House Party, and the Forgotten Sons. Now, this was a hard-hitting match, guys. Kofi comes out in the beginning. He's on fire. He's hitting everybody with, you know, his drop kicks, and he's really offensive, flying off of the ropes and everything like that. But the Lucha House Party as well, they start doing what they were supposed to do, but ultimately they end up picking up the victory, guys. Yes, it was a back and forth match between all type of the teams. Like I said, it was very hard hitting from all sides. Kofi and Big E, they did what they were supposed to do at the end of it all, retaining their championships, man. So it's looking good for Kofi, but I believe that the Forgotten Sons will be coming up, and they will be taking these tag team championships away from the New Day, because they are the only tag team who have a clean pin victory on the champs. Granted, it was non-championship involved, but I believe they're going to start a feud with them. And actually, I would like to see the Forgotten Sons get the tag team championships right now. You know, they're kind of hot. They're coming from NXT, and I think they could do big things on SmackDown. So moving on, we have the Universal Championship match between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. So Bray Wyatt kind of comes out in his funhouse gimmick. Braun, you know, for weeks now, Braun has been trying to ignore Bray. Bray's been trying to get into his head, trying to bring him back to the dark side as the Black Sheep. But they have a pretty decent match, guys. I mean, it could have went on a little bit longer. In my opinion, I believe the match was a little too short. You know, offensive moves by both of them. Now, they're two big guys. Bray does what he does. You know, he's a mind manipulator. But Braun, he's super strong. He's super big. Hits Bray with the shoulder tackle multiple times. They go outside, and he's trying to kind of dismantle Bray a little bit outside, but Bray gets the upper hand by allowing Braun to actually run in to the announcer table when Braun was trying to come in for that little freight train maneuver that he does. And then Bray hits him with a DDT off of the table. So he kind of has him shooken up, has him where he has him in a bad position, and throws him up against the steel steps. They go back into the ring, and Braun actually gets hit with a Sister Abigail. He kicks out, but then Bray goes on for a second one, as right there he takes a moment to pause, and then Braun hits him with a choke slam, kind of reversing the Sister Abigail maneuver on Bray, choke slamming him to ultimately rolling outside, putting on the mask. Braun starts to play mind games with Bray. So Bray actually tries to embrace Braun and thinks that Braun is coming back to the dark side, coming back to the funhouse with him as the black sheep. But to no avail, guys, he does not. Braun ultimately steps on the mask, and then he grabs Bray and eventually does the power slam to Bray to pick up the victory. So now, I'm not sure if you guys noticed on one of my last videos, I had stated that if Braun was going to face Bray, more than likely he would have picked up the victory. So he kind of did face Bray in this match. So now I believe that we'll be setting up another match between the two of them come Backlash, if I'm not mistaken, guys. And it'll be The Fiend versus Braun. You heard it here first at Gifted Radical Wrestling. It'll be The Fiend versus Braun. If that happens, guys, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt will walk away with the Universal Championship once again. So we're moving on. Braun celebrating in the ring, telling Bray that you didn't make me, I'm my own man. You're not going to get in my head. You'll never get back in my head. I mean, hey, if Braun believes that, then we'll see how he's going to feel when he faces that monster, Bray Wyatt's alter ego, The Fiend. I mean, hopefully he can hold on to the championship, but I don't think he's going to hold on to the championship, guys. So then we have the match between the Monday Night Messiah and the heavyweight champ, Drew McIntyre. Now, I believe this was one of the matches of the pay-per-view. The first one was the Fatal 4 Tag Team Championship match, and this match for the World Heavyweight Championship. They go right at it, guys. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, they go right at it, man. They're going for it. Seth Rollins kind of starts working Drew McIntyre's leg, and you know, he's trying to get that spring out of the Claymore kick, because he knows if he gets hit with that Claymore kick, it's gonna be lights out. But they go back and forth, man. This was a great match. Seth was sliding from submission to submission. Great tactical mat wrestling by Seth Rollins. He also came out with a new entrance music. I thought it was kind of funny because it was kind of godly-ish or whatever, but hey, whatever fits his gimmick, so be it. But yeah, guys, they go outside. They're back and forth outside the ring, inside of the ring. Seth's flying off of the top of the apron, hitting him with a flying knee, and Drew gains his composure and actually hip tosses Seth Rollins over the announcer table, guys. They go back and forth. Seth Rollins hits him with the super kick. Drew McIntyre, you know, he's kind of shook up a little bit. You know, Seth Rollins is a great tactical wrestler. There he hits him with that patented suplex into the Falcon Arrow off of the top rope. But it still wasn't enough for Drew to, you know, to fall to Seth Rollins. Drew hits him with that Future Shock DDT. Now, Drew has finished a lot of people with that Future Shock DDT, but he wasn't able to finish Seth Rollins with that maneuver. And again, he goes for the Claymore, and Seth kind of stops him with the super kick. And then Seth Rollins actually hits him with a curb stomp, but Drew kicks out. So then Seth goes in for another curb stomp, and Drew actually comes up with it where Seth Rollins missed the curb stomp. He super kicks Drew. Drew Claymore kicks him back and ends up picking up the victory, guys. And still, your World Heavyweight Champion, the Scottish Terminator, Drew McIntyre. After the match, Drew was getting ready to walk out of the ring, and he walks back in and he tells Seth, "You're a leader. Thank you. I appreciate it. But if you really want to lead, be a man and shake my hand." He actually thanked him for the match, which I thought was a noble gesture on the behalf of Drew McIntyre. He said, "Seth, you're the man, but you just weren't the man today." And Seth Rollins actually shook his hand, guys. So could this be something new with the Monday Night Messiah? Is he giving Drew McIntyre the respect that he deserves? Or was it because Drew McIntyre beat him and, you know, he was like, he kind of just accepted it? So I don't know, guys. We'll see. So then we have the Money in the Bank match itself. Now, in my opinion, I don't know who the hell was booking this, who the hell wrote the storyline to it. I don't know who the hell coordinated it, guys, but this was a disaster in my opinion. This was a total joke. I never in the history of Money in the Bank have they had both men and women Money in the Bank ladder matches going on simultaneously at the same time, where everybody's running around through a building. It was just ridiculous in my opinion, guys. Start off for the women's side. Asuka dives off at a little balcony area right there in the main entrance. The guys all congregate in the gym area. I mean, it was oh my God, I give that an F. I really do. I don't know what the hell Vince McMahon is thinking. I don't know what the hell his writers were thinking. It was, in my opinion, it was just stupid. Seriously, like, you guys need to come up with something better. That's why AEW is kicking y'all asses for stuff like this. You know, Otis put some weights on AJ Styles. I mean, they start running through the whole building. It was just crazy. Then you had appearances by Brother Love. He's in the bathroom. Whatever. You had another appearance by a surprise guest while Daniel Bryan is beating Baron Corbin up, tied up into the ropes, and Otis is egging him on, saying yes, yes, yes. But then we have a surprise guest appearance by none other than who? Doink the Clown. I mean, I haven't seen Doink since like maybe the early 90s, mid 90s, and he makes a pop-up. I mean, you could put face paint on anybody and call him Doink and throw a green wig on him. So, yeah. They move on, running around through the building. Shayna and Dana Brooke, they're in one of the Money in the Bank offices or whatnot, and Dana actually hits Nia Jax with the chair after she takes out Shayna Baszler, and she actually grabs the Money in the Bank that's actually hanging in the office, and that Money in the Bank briefcase is filled with nothing but money. So they have a brief cameo where Stephanie McMahon comes in there and she tells Dana Brooke that's the wrong Money in the Bank. Womp, womp, womp. The original Money in the Bank briefcase is all the way upstairs in the roof. She wasn't nowhere near the roof, guys. So, in my opinion, this match was just ridiculous. Then Carmella hits her with her own Money in the Bank picture when she originally won the Money in the Bank briefcase. Smacks Dana Brooke with it. The only run outside and catch a woman's right by Lacey Evans. I mean, this match was all over the place, guys. Like, it really was. If you sat and watched the pay-per-view, I'm pretty sure you were thinking in your head, like, what the hell is going on? But, then they come to the cafeteria where Paul Heyman is at, and Paul Heyman's getting ready to have some dinner or whatever the heck it is, and Otis ends up hitting him with a plate of food, yelling food fight. They have a brief food fight where the men and the women are all in the same area. Shayna ends up putting her patented rear naked chokehold on Rey Mysterio, and they move forward. Otis ends up in the cafeteria somewhere and smacks John Laurinaitis with a pie. I mean, this was ridiculous. AJ Styles, he's in some part of the building where he sees this picture of the Phenom, The Undertaker. Now, everybody knows in WrestleMania, Undertaker buried AJ Styles in the Boneyard match. Then he opens the door and it's like a coffin in the room with blue lights and everything like that. So Aleister Black actually ends up pushing him in there, locking him in there, and he was yelling like a little girl. But to no avail, he ends up getting out. Him and Daniel Bryan start fighting, and they actually end up in Vince McMahon's office. I believe it was like another comedy skit that they were trying to do there where Vince McMahon stops them both and tells them to get the hell out of his office because they shouldn't be fighting in his office. Then he proceeds to sanitize his hands, guys, you know, with the whole pandemic and everything like that. He wants to make sure he's sanitizing and disinfecting. Then the women actually make it up to the roof. Nia Jax and Lacey Evans were up there first with Asuka. And, you know, they are going in for a little bit. It was nothing really crazy, guys, in my opinion. Like I said, I believe if they were going to use the building, they could have done something way better. But they really did not. They really didn't use that space the way I thought they were going to use it. They didn't use it to its full potential. They really didn't even do the pay-per-view to its full potential. In my opinion, I believe they actually discredited the Money in the Bank pay-per-view Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand with the whole pandemic and everything like that that's going on. You know, they're kind of limited, but yet and still, Vince McMahon is a wealthy man. They had a whole corporate building to themselves. In my opinion, they could have did both matches, the men and women's Money in the Bank match, separately instead of conducing them at the same time. It was just a whole bunch of everything going on at the same time. It was kind of hard to follow, and the production value of it was trash. So Asuka ends up winning the women's Money in the Bank, guys. And for the men, you know, they actually come up there. It's Baron Corbin, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, and Otis. Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black actually make it up there as well. But AJ Styles hitting Otis with the phenomenal forearm and everything like that. But Baron Corbin actually tosses Rey Mysterio over the edge. He actually tosses Aleister Black over the edge. Thank God that they landed 6 feet down, and there was another rooftop area where they actually landed at, so they only suffered minor injuries, and they both were good. But in the end, it's AJ Styles, Baron Corbin fighting for the briefcase. Otis is down from the phenomenal forearm, and out of nowhere, Elias comes out, hits Baron Corbin, so he releases the briefcase, and AJ, since they both were tugging with it, kind of fumbles it, and Otis actually comes up with the briefcase, guys. That's right. Otis from SmackDown is your Money in the Bank winner. So it was kind of crazy. Like I said, I believe there was only but 2 matches that were really good, that were really captivating, that actually kept your attention and kept your focus on it. But Asuka for Raw wins the women's Money in the Bank, and Otis wins the Money in the Bank for men, and he's from SmackDown. So now we're going to see who Otis is going to ask to defend the championship against when he cashes in, whether it be Braun or whether it be Drew McIntyre. Who knows, guys? But leave your comments below and let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about the recap. My opinion, I think this year's Money in the Bank was a waste of time, honestly. Like I said, the production value was whack. It was just everywhere, man. Vince needs to really start evaluating what he needs to do over there as far as conducting these pay-per-views, conducting their shows. You know, you can't take nothing away from the athletes. The athletes have no control of what's happening over there. They're just doing as they're told, and Vince really needs to step his game up. They really need to step their game up over there if they really want to compete with AEW, in my opinion. We'll see what AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view comes out looking like. I mean, right now, as far as Dynamite, Dynamite is taking the lead in the ratings compared to NXT. And I believe if Dynamite was going up against Raw or SmackDown, they'll be taking the lead in the ratings as well. So Vince need to take some notes. Triple H need to take some notes. Stephanie, they need to take some notes. So thanks for watching, guys. That's the recap. Once again, it was the Gifted Radical Wrestling recap. I'm your boy, the Gifted One. Till next time.